Everybody, and welcome to Slowpoke Racing. Sorry, I just dropped all my paperwork. Welcome to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. Yeah, sorry about that. I just got all my paperwork on my lap ready to go, and I just dropped it all. So I just packed it all up. We are here for our Wednesday Championship, the Super Formulas. Now then, we are at round 9, so only one more round to go after this one. So what a fantastic season it's been. We're with the League 2 guys, and this season it's been pretty much dominated by PM10, as you can see up there on pole position. But there's still some good scraps being taken place just behind him. We've got Panic at the Tesco. He's missed the last 2 rounds. He's back to obviously put up a bit of a fight for PM10. We've got P White in there. Good 2 rounds. He's just had it round 7 and 8. P White getting on the podium, getting second in both of those races. So PM10 may not have it his own way, all his own way this race. We've got a couple of other drivers on there as well. I'll say lots of drivers. We've got Grahamid in there. We've got RJ in there as well. Dan, Rufus. They're all good racers, as you've seen in the previous round. So let's crack on with this one, shall we? We are over in Germany for this one, and if you go to Germany, there's only one place you can really go, and that's the Nurburgring. We are on the Grand Prix circuit, so it is just the short one. We're not going off out to the wilderness anywhere. I just need to silence my phone because it is bleeping like mad. So let me just, there you go. Shouldn't be so popular, should I? There we go. Anyway, right. So onwards and upwards with this race, and we're just going to crack on straight, have a look down the grid and get these boys underway, shall we? As already mentioned, PM10 on pole position in his usual parking space, and what we just need to do is have a little sign put on the front there, just saying, parking for PM10, because that is where he is permanently. As I say, I think he's won every race he's taken part in so far, and convincingly as well. Not only won it, he's actually won it by a big margin. So, we expect nothing less from him this time around. Just behind him is his nemesis. It's Panic at the Tesco, who will give him a good run for his money. A very quick driver is Panic at the Tesco. And, he's called Panic at the Tesco, but I'm sure he doesn't. He does seem very calm when he's driving. So let's see what he can do. 2 weeks absence. May have made him a bit rusty. Then again, it could have made him very keen. We shall see. Just behind him, P White. Now, as I already mentioned, P White has had a good couple of rounds in round 7 and 8. He got himself up there in second place, so he's had a taste of champagne, and I'm sure he wants a bit more. And that's P White in third. RJ just behind him. Again, some good, decent points has been scored over the last few rounds from RJ. Shows a lot of promise, so one to keep an eye on. Always up for a good race is Grahamid Ali in that Ferrari. He likes to get stuck in, does Grahamid. Always a good racer. Nice to have him on track. Dan in 6, and another quick driver. I raced with him for the first time actually on Sunday, and he's a very quick driver. Likes to get his elbows out and get stuck in, so expect to see him making his way through the grid. Then we've got Rufus. Rufus, up and down rounds for Rufus. He'll have a fantastic round 1 week, and he'll be down the next week. So let's just hope that Rufus has a good week this week. Then we've got Declan starting to get to grips with the car just as we're coming to the end of the season. He joined very late, didn't he? But he struggled for the first couple of weeks just while he got used to it. But as I say, he's starting to get his head around this car now. So Declan, another one to keep an eye on. Then we've got Steele in 9th. Not really seen much of Steele. He's always there and thereabouts in the mid-pack. But not really come to the front. So I think this is his first season. So early days for him. Then we've got Vane in 10th. And then we've got the Saint in 11th. Both are new to Ultimate Racing League, as is Steele. So still finding their feet. Fantastic little livery there for the Saint. With, it is the Saint's logo, isn't it, on the front of it. I've been told, actually, I think I've read somewhere, or he told me, I can't remember now. I had a quick chat with him after it once, and I think he told me that the Saint, he's not named after the programme. I might have made that up completely, but there you go. And if you're wondering what the hell I'm on about, it was a program in the 70s, 80s, something like that. I can't remember now, with Simon Templar, I believe. Not going to all that again. Let's just get straight back up to the top. Look it up. Just look it up. Let's get straight up to the top then, and we'll get this race underway, shall we? 50 minutes ahead of us. And as I've already said, if I can find my map, where am I doing with that now? Oh, God, putting things down, picking them up, putting them down. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. So we are at the Nurburgring on the GP circuit, 3.2 miles and 15 turns ahead of the guys as PM10 takes us around the first couple of really tricky turns, actually. Turn 1, 2, 3 and 4, turns 2 and 3 around Mercedes Arena, very tricky. You're just itching to get your foot down, but it won't let you because of the how tight these turns are. But the guys all through there quite safely, heading down towards turn 5 and then through to turn 6 at Ford Curve. Panic just sitting there in second, with RJ now up to third, Grahamid in fourth. P. White dropped a few places already as P. White, so not the best of starts for him. That's not what he wanted. But sitting there in fifth, we've got Vane. Great start from Vane to move himself up to sixth already. And Rufus in. Oh, as Rufus goes very, very wide through the hairpin there at Dunlop Curve, and onto the Kitty Litter he goes, picking up a half a second penalty already. That really is not the start of Rufus wanted. We were hoping he was going to have a good start to this race. Now then, why we've got a yellow flag already? I can't see anything that's wrong. Well, hang on a minute, what's going on? We had PM10 out in front. Now then, RJ was in third, but I've just seen he was in the lead then. So PM10 then up through the Michael Schumacher S's at turns 8 and 9. So what's happened here then? Panic just behind him in second. Oh, the big twitch from PM10. Wow, we are going to go back and have a look at that one, obviously. So what happened then? He's just gone out onto that AstroTurf stuff. I didn't think it was that bad out there, to be honest, but it's at turn 10. And poor old PM10 all the way back down at the back now. Now in the confusion, RJ has actually shot himself forward and into the lead of this race, with Panic just behind him. Panic in second, Grahamid in third. Grahamid on the hard tyres, RJ on the mediums, Panic on the mediums. Wow, what a turn up for the books. PM10 normally would be 2 or 3 seconds in front of everybody else by now. Has had a big spin at turn 10 and allowed RJS to get up there into the lead. Panic at the Tesco just behind him on the mediums. Then we've got Grahamid on the hard tyres. He's started off well as Grahamid, as he always does, likes to start with the harder compound tyres. We've got P. White now moves up into fourth. He's also on the hards. Vane on the soft tyres up to fifth. Come on, Vane, we want to see you on the podium. This is what we want. Vane in the big yellow machine up there in fifth. Let's just see if he can hold on to it. I would love to see Vane up there. Oh, and we've had another one. Who's this? What is going on? It's Panic at the Tesco. Wow, what is going on with these top runner guys? As we come down the hill then, through turn 5 into turn 6 at Ford. And there we go. Panic at the Tesco, the back end decided it wanted to overtake the front, and a big spin for him. Now that has dropped Panic down to, well, he's going to lose another couple of places, isn't he? Down to 8th for Panic at the Tesco. Wow, we're not even finished lap 2, and it is all kicking off as the rest of the grid go around Dunlop Curve at turn 7, up through the Michael Schumacher S's. Panic will be absolutely kicking himself. We've got Steele down in 9th, the Saint in 10th, and PM10 on the medium tyres as well, down in 11th, and now playing catch up. So if he's going to win this race, he's got to take the entire grid on. Well, we've seen him lap most of them most weeks, so it's not beyond him to do, but this is going to be one hell of a drive for him to get back up and in amongst the leaders. Talking of leaders, RJ now out there on his own, and quite a gap between himself and Grahamid. I bet RJ can't believe his luck, but he's just got to keep his head down now, keep his concentration and stay out there in front. He's on those medium tyres, so he should be okay for grip. Grahamid up to second now after that big spill by Tesco. So Grahamid on those hard tyres, just trying to get them out the way early. Then we've got PY also on some hard, back end getting a bit squirrely there as he comes out of turn 3 into turn 4, but manages to hold on to it and keep it facing the right way. So that's PY up to third. Let's see if we can, should we jump on board? Let's go on board with Vane, shall we? Let's have a drive with Vane as we go around turn 6 at Ford Curve. Then it is starting down the hill now towards the hairpin bend at Dunlop Curve. We will do a full lap with one of the drivers in a bit. We're just going to stay with Vane just for another couple of corners as we try and get onto the back of PY. Vane on the soft tyres. Now he's got a bit of damage at the back. I didn't notice that, so something's happened there. May have been Dan just giving him a little bit of a love tap, I'm not sure. But a bit of a gap between himself and Dan. Well, Dan's catching back up again. So around turn 11 at Warmston Curve. Now they start on down the hill, and it's just a bit of a dip in the track there, and then we're back up towards the chicane. This is the NGK chicane. A really tricky one. Those curves are a lot higher than they think they are, and you can see the cars bouncing around as they go over them. Into the final turn we go then at Coca-Cola Curve, turn 15, and then he's put on the noisy pedal. Now then, they have got the overtake button if they want to use it. Vane doesn't want to use it just yet. He's not going to go for it early doors, but he's going to have a look at the inside of PY. No, he's not. Dan sniffing around the rear end as well as Vane, so he can just see PY and Vane in front of him. Dan on the medium tyres as Vane goes very, very deep in the Mercedes arena, and let's see if he picks up a penalty. I'm hoping he doesn't. It looks like he's got away with that one. Panic at the Tesco up to 6 now, gained a couple of places after his spill on the medium tyres. Then we've got Declan also going with the mediums. A lot of the guys going for the medium tyres in this first stint. So Declan up to 7. Just see the back end getting a bit twitchy on him there, but good car control from Declan. PM10 has now made his way past Rufus and the Saint, and he's moved up to 8th position, but all strategy they had going into this race has gone out the window. Same for Panic at the Tesco as well. I presume they would have had a strategy, but that's all provided they were up at the front. Now things have changed. Rufus with another half second. I'm sure it's another half second. He won't be carrying the same one around. So Rufus really struggling on this track at the minute, or struggling to stay on the track, should I say, as he serves his penalty. Just before, I think it's just before turn 12 actually, is the penalty zone. So that's Rufus now down into 9th with Steele in 10th, and then the Saint just dropping off the back of the grid now in 11th. He's on those soft tyres as well, so really needs to push a little bit harder to catch up to the back of Steele and Rufus to try and make a bit of a go of it against those guys. Great looking livery though. As he just catches the barrier there, just coming out of turn 15 at Coca-Cola Curve. So that's the Saint down in 11th. So back up to the top, and look at the lead that RJ has got now. Back to Grahamid. Now then, RJ is on the medium tyres, so does have an advantage as far as tyre compound goes in this early stages of the race. Grahamid though doing an absolute fantastic job on those hard tyres to stay in P2, just ahead of PY, who is also on the hard tyres. So these two having a fantastic race, obviously helped with PM10 and Panic at the Tesco going off very early doors in the first couple of rounds, but nevertheless you've got to be up there, and that's exactly what Grahamid and PY are doing. Dan on the mediums is doing his utmost to catch up to the two guys in front of him. He really could do with catching them and getting in front of them to use those medium compound tyres, because he has got the harder tyres to come later on in the race. Panic now up to 5th. Let's go on board with Panic, shall we, as we bounce our way across the curves at the chicane. for the 5th time and into Coca-Cola curve at turn 15 then. Dan picking up half a second. That'll put a smile on Panic's face as they go across the line to start lap 6. And it is all the way down to turn 1. Now then, it's only 620 metres this, so it's not a massively long straight. And slipstream really doesn't kick in until you get to the end of it. But Panic at the Tesco on the medium tyres should be able to take advantage. Oh, as Dan spins out. And I was going to say Panic can take advantage of Dan when he serves that penalty, but Dan spun out there as we came out of turn 2, I think it was. And that's now put Dan down into 6th, Vane into 6th. Oh, Dan's come back at him, so he's recovered from his spin and he's come back at Vane and retaken that 5th position. So Vane down to 6th. Come on, Vane, we want to see you up there amongst the leaders. Dan is going to have to serve that penalty though, remember. So Vane and PM10 having a good sniff around the rear end of Vane there. So as Dan's going to serve that penalty, which is going to be pretty soon actually, because he is now just about to go through turn 10. And it is just after turn 11, which is coming up now at Wallenstein Curve. So Dan's going to serve that penalty now, brakes on, and then back on the power. Now then, has Vane gone through? Vane has gone through. And PM10 as well took full advantage of that penalty that Dan had to serve. So Vane is now up into 5th as he pumps his way through that chicane. PM10 though, you do not want to have, if you look in your mirrors, if you are Vane and you look in your mirrors, that is not what you want to see. PM10's car coming towards you. As we see, P. White has gone into the pit, so he's going to get rid of those hard tyres. He was sitting in 3rd, wasn't he? That now has opened the door for Panic to move up. We're on board with Vane as we look in the mirrors, and we see we've got PM10 chasing us down with Dan just behind him. Come on, Vane, just try and keep it on the track, stay calm. I think I'd be panicking as well if I had PM10 bearing down on me, and you can see that PM10 really is putting the pressure on. And have we got another one on the... we have got yellow flags. Why have we got yellow flags? I can't actually see anything that's wrong at the minute. RJ's still out in front, Grahamid's still in 2nd, then we've got Dan up to 3rd, Declan is now up to 4th. So having a good race is Declan. He's on his own though at the minute. He can just about see Dan ahead of him. Then we've got PM10. He's managed to get himself up to 5th now. Where's Vane gone? Vane down to 8th. Oh no, don't tell me he's had a bit of a moment and we've missed that one. But poor old Vane down to 8th. As Rufus moves through into 7th, Panic is in 6th. He's now got PM10 chasing him down. Hold on. No, PM10 is in front of Panic. Sorry, PM10 is in 5th. Well, what am I looking at? So PM10 then, after that spill on the first couple of turns, has now made his way up to 5th position. Not pitted yet, same as RJ. RJ out in front by quite some margin actually, as he goes around turns 1 into turn 2 at Mercedes Arena, into turn 3. In fact, let's have a look and see if who's crossing the line. Who's crossing the line? Well, it's Vane, and still let's go on board with Vane. He's crossed the line. Well, I know we spend a lot of time in Vane's car, but we're going to do a full lap with Vane. So into turn 1 then. Very tight right-hander immediately thrown into Mercedes Arena at turns 2 and 3. It is just one big continuous left-hander, this one almost. As soon as you come out of turn 3, you are thrown into this right-hander of turn 4. Try to take as much of the track as you can on that left-hand side. Foot hard down now as they head towards turn 5. The left-hander, dab at the old brakes, but maybe not for these guys. And then into turn 6 at Ford Curve. Then we start on down the hill, and we can see we've got Rufus just in front of us, and a dab of the old overtake button there. As we hit Dunlop Curve at turn 7, the big hairpin bend, and then we start the climb again. Vane desperately looking for a way past Rufus as we enter the Michael Schumacher S's at turns 8 and 9, but nothing doing there. Not the best of places to try and overtake, to be honest. Then we come up to the left-hander of turn 10 at the top of the hill. Then the right-hander of Wallenstein Curve at turn 11. Again, back on the power. We start on down the hill. A bit of a dip, actually. this one as we go through turn 12. Start the climb up towards the chicane, NGK chicane 13 and 14. Try to avoid those curbs too much. You see Rufus bump across them, and then we're into this well, another almost hairpin at Coca-Cola curve, turn 15, and then it's back on the power then to cross the start-finish line to start lap 9. So that was a lap with Vane, so thank you to him for taking us around. We've got Steele in 9th. P. White now in 10th after making a stop. He's now out on some medium tyres. And then we've got the Saint in 11th on those softs, not stopped yet. So only a couple of guys have stopped. It's RJ still going, and yeah, decent gap for him. Maintaining, actually, I think he's maintaining that gap back to Grahamid. But what a fantastic race Grahamid's having on those hard tyres. Actually opened up a bit of a gap now back to Dan Dan. He did have, I think it was P. White, didn't he, Grahamid? He had P. White for company on the hard tyres, but P. White has decided to pit quite early. Grahamid going a lot deeper into this race on the hard tyres, so Grahamid definitely only doing a 2-stop. In fact, he may well keep going until the fuel forces him in. The tyres will definitely outlast the fuel. So Grahamid hardly used the overtake button as well as Grahamid, so still got that to use on the softer compound tyres, and that's probably what he's doing. Actually, he's probably saving the overtake for when he is on the softer compounds. And another lap being racked up for Grahamid then as he crosses the start finish line and starts lap 10. Dan Dan sitting there in 3rd, quite comfortable at the minute. Well, I say quite comfortable at the minute because he's got PM10 chasing him down. PM10 made his way all the way from the back up to 4th now, and next on his list is Dan Dan. Panic at the Tesco, same thing. He had a bit of a spill, didn't he, at lap 2, I think it was. He came off and now has made his way up into 5th, and he's chasing after PM10. Doesn't want to let PM10 get too far away from him. Both on the medium tyres, both about the same amount of fuel, although Panic has used his just a touch more. PM10 has a little bit more overtake as well. Again, he tends not to use it till the latter stages of the races. So Panic at the Tesco just trying to stay in touch with the guys in front of him, as I've just seen PM10 eyeing up Dan Dan and looking to make the move. Then we're just going to follow him around turn 7 as they go up through the Schumacher S's now. Then PM10, he's probably not going to make a move here, but he's thinking about doing it after turn 11 probably, unless he can get it done here. No, as we go through turn 10, so I think he's looking for a good exit out of turn 11, and then as they go down the hill through turn 12, this is where PM10 will probably be thinking about making his move. If he can get close enough. He's not, no he's not. I thought he might have made it a little bit closer than that as they go into the chicane, so no, PM10 holds back. But definitely going to be looking at making a move on Dan Dan on the straight as they come out of turn 15. Oh, the back end gets all twitchy on PM10. That cost him a bit of space. He was really looking for a good exit out of turn 15 so that he could make a move on Dan Dan, but that little bit of twitchiness there has cost him, and he's going to have to sit behind Dan Dan for just a little bit longer. As we can see on the left hand side, Rufus has decided it's time to come in and get rid of those hard tyres. Panic at the Tesco, while PM10 is fighting with Dan Dan, Panic at the Tesco is creeping up behind him and getting closer and closer, so this is playing right into Panic at the Tesco's hands. PM10 really does need to get ahead of Dan Dan, but Dan Dan doing a fantastic job of defending as they come down towards turn 7 once again for the 11th time. PM10, I think there's a bit of desperation kicking in now. He knows he's got to get by Dan Dan. They're both on the medium tyres, but PM10 needs to get by Dan Dan, open up a bit of a gap. He's got Panic at the Tesco bearing down on him, and you can see that PM10 getting closer and closer to Dan Dan, trying to use the slipstream as well when he's on the straights. I think he may have to start having a bit of a tap of that overtake button, PM10, because Dan Dan is doing a fantastic job of defending this P3 for now. Now then, we'll just stick with them now as we're going through the chicane. I just want to see if PM10 can get close enough to Dan to actually make a move. Now he's just got to be a little bit more gentle on the old throttle as we come out of turn 15. We can just see Grahamid ahead, so Grahamid is losing time to these guys. PM10 now into the slipstream of Dan. We'll go on board with PM10. He's still not close enough to get the move done at turn 1, and Dan is bearing down on Grahamid. Both PM10 and Dan on the medium tyres. Grahamid on the hard tyres, and the fuel light is flashing. We said, didn't we, that Grahamid would take those tyres to outlive the fuel tank, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to get one more lap in, but I think he may have made a mistake here. I think Grahamid should have maybe pitted a lap earlier. Still desperately holding on to P2. He's got Dan chasing him down, PM10 chasing him down, and they are all very low on fuel. Grahamid is getting quite desperately low, so he's definitely got a pit at the end of this lap. Dan may well get another lap in if he chooses to stay out, the same as PM10. Let's just see, Grahamid is definitely going to have to come in. RJ has stayed out again, really looking after his fuel well is RJ, and look at the gap he's got now. What a fantastic gap that is for RJ, looking very comfortable as he comes around turn 15, decided he's going to stay out for one more lap. Grahamid, as he approaches the chicane, he's going to stay to the right, I'm sure. It's just as you come out of the chicane, you've got to drift over to the right, and then you are into the pit lane, and there we go. So Grahamid into the pit lane, and it looks like Dan stayed out, and PM10 has come in as well. So Dan now moves up into second, but has got to pit at the end of this lap. So it looks like PM10 has gone for the undercut on Dan. RJ is staying out, as I've said. He's going to have to come in at the end of this lap. I wish we knew what kind of time difference it was between himself and Dan. Not that it matters really, because both of them have got to pit, so it's the gap between RJ and PM10, I suppose, that counts the most, really. P. White has gone through. We forgot about P. White, didn't we? He was up there early doors and has now moved up into P3. What kind of gap have we got between himself and Dan and RJ? I think the gap is too big for P. White to take over the lead of this race when RJ comes in. But it's going to be interesting, isn't it? RJ now coming around turn 11, and that fuel light flashing, and he's still dabbing at that overtake button. Just been a bit cautious with it. Just over half a tank of overtake juice. Dan, well, he's got more overtake juice, hasn't he? But a lot less fuel. He's going to have to sort of ease that car back to the pits. Now then, RJ is coming in. Dan will definitely come in. P. White, where is P. White? P. White has just come in up through the Michael Schumacher S's. Now then, just keep an eye on the table on the left. We're going to follow P. White as he comes around turn 10 towards turn 11. We're just keeping an eye on that table on the left there, just to see when the fuel starts going into RJ's car, and it's not going in quick enough for RJ. There it is starting to fill up now. Dan's car, he's not taking fuel yet. RJ is. Wow, come on, this is going to be tight as P. White goes into the chicane and up towards turn 15 at the final turn. RJ, is he going to get out on time, or is P. White going to get it? P. White around turn 15, back onto the start-finish straight. You can see RJ now fully fueled up and out, so RJ rejoins back out in front. P. White a lot closer to him. Dan, he can't get the fuel in quick enough, can he? P. White moves up into second. PM10, he is out of the pit on soft tyres and moves up into P3. Grahamid, after his stop, he has come out onto the soft tyres now on a full tank of fuel for Grahamid. He is in fourth. He's got Dan just behind him in fifth. Panic at the Tesco in sixth. And all of these guys, oh no, Dan's on the hard tyres. I'm going to say all of these guys now on the soft tyres. Now then, Panic at the Tesco on the soft tyres should make an easy pass. Past Dan. Oh, Dan loses it. Where's he gone? Dan. Oh, well, he's managed to hold on to it. He did manage to hold on to it, but that was a big old spill. Let's just have a quick look at what happened to Dan. It was he managed to hold on to it. So great car control then. as we come through turn 3 up towards turn 4, and it may have been here. Yeah, just too early on the power, but managed to catch it. But it has cost him a place as Panic goes by. Well, we thought that Panic was going to go through anyway, didn't we? Because he's on the softer compound tyres. But good hold for Dan. Well, he's got a bit of damage to the rear end. So did he get a tap from Panic? I didn't see anything. That's interesting. Maybe that's one for the stewards to have another look at. Dan with damage at the back, so I didn't see anything. But maybe there was a little bit of a love kiss there from Panic at the Tesco. We're not sure, but anyway, damage dealt with, and Dan back up to full racing speed now, but on the hard tyres. Let's have a look who else is out there. Rufus on the softs. So he's made a start now then. Let's have a look at the gap between, well, it's not a massive gap now. Dan on the hard, Rufus on the soft, so you would like to think that Rufus could try and make some headway to catch up to the back of Dan and give Dan a bit of a race. Steele in 8th. Well, it's all getting very lonely for Steele and Vane, and maybe the Saints as well. They've got nobody to play with at the minute. They are all out there on their own. Vane down to 9th. Oh, we really wanted to see Vane up there amongst the leaders. Had a good start to the race, a good early few laps, but has since dropped off. And then we've got the Saint. Oh, 3 seconds. Ouch. That has got to be for the pit stop lane infringement. That is unlucky for the Saint. That is not what he needed, but he's going to keep going, and that's what it's all about, actually. It is just the fact that you're racing. He'll be on the chat with the rest of the guys as well, telling them what's just happened, and probably having a bit of a chuckle to himself. Yeah, probably not. He'll be swearing and cussing and cursing, I'm sure. But he's a jolly sort, is the Saint, so he will have a bit of a laugh about it afterwards. So back up to the front then, and RJ. Now then, let's have a look. Now then, that gap is not as big as it was earlier on, but he has made a pit stop. P. White also has made a pit stop, so both guys stop. Oh, P. White taking a right good chunk out of the turn 14 there up the chicane, but got away with it. Actually slammed across the curb, didn't he? PM10 up to 3rd. On some soft tyres. Now let's have a look who's the, well, it is PM10 who is the fastest man on the track at the minute with a 130. Well, he's just gone faster still. I was going to say 137 dead, but he's just gone 3 tenths, just under 3 tenths quicker there, with a 136.7. So PM10 really pushing now. Let's have a look at the two guys in front of him. So PM10 then with a 136.7. Fastest lap for RJ was lap 15, but it's a 137.2, so about 5 tenths, something like that. Difference between the two. P. White, his fastest again was 15, but a 138, so a little bit slower than RJ, and definitely a bit slower than PM10, so PM10 definitely on a charge. For Hamid, his fastest was lap 15 as well on those soft tyres, a 138. He's holding his own in 4th at the minute. He has got Panic though bearing down on him. Panic pushing hard. Let's have a look. He's on a 137.5, so he's about a second off of the quickest lap of PM10, but we do know how quick Panic at the Tesco is. In fact, let's jump on board with him, shall we, as we're eyeing up Grahamid in P4 as we go around turn 10, then into turn 11, and we start on down this little dip through turn 12 past the penalty zone. No penalties to serve here though, and then up the slight incline towards the chicane, and let's see if Panic, yeah, he just gets the wheels on the curb, doesn't really thump across them, he just gets those inside wheels on the curb just enough to rock the boat a little bit. And a good exit out of turn 15 for Panic. Now he is in the slipstream of Grahamid, but I think he's just a little bit too far back to make a move as they go into turn 1. Hard onto those brakes, down the little dip. And if you get too close on the inner apex there, it will throw the car around because it's quite a camber there. So good stuff from Panic. A quick look behind us, and well, there's nobody there, is it? Nothing to worry about for Panic at the Tesco, so you don't need mirrors. His sights are fixed firmly on the rear end of Grahamid, who is holding that P4 at the minute. Dan in, well, he's having a fantastic battle, isn't he, with Rufus. Well, we thought Rufus would catch up, and he's on the softer tyres, I think, Rufus. Yes, he is. So we had a feeling that Rufus would catch up to Dan. Dan on the hards. He's trying to defend it, but not a lot of point, really, as they go side by side around the hairpin at turn 7, and Rufus with the softer compounds has got the better grip and can hold the inner line through that turn. So great racing between these two, no contact made. Fantastic stuff for P6 there, and Dan now down into P7, but as I say, on those hard tyres, not much he could do about that. Just fantastic racing. Steele in 8th, Vane in 9th, with the Saint still down in 10th, and he's got the blue flags being waved. So I can only guess that is RJ that is behind him, unless RJ's already gone. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is RJ that's kept chasing the Saint down, so the Saint will move over when it's safe to do so, and he will let RJ through. He's not going to hold him up if he can help it. What a fantastic race. RJ's having, keeping on the grey stuff, RJ, and you can see the Saint there just moving out of RJ's way as they head down towards turn 7 at the hairpin. So RJ gets clear of the Saint. The Saint just going to sit behind him actually and pick up the slipstream, and fair play to him, I don't blame you. P White then still in second with the fuel lights flashing. Remember, P White did pit considerably earlier than the rest of the guys, 2 or 3 laps earlier actually. So RJ with, well, over half a tank of fuel has got a good few laps ahead of him yet. P White though has got to come in to the pit now. Then PM10 is third currently, and he can see P White just up the road. So with half a tank of fuel and only about 20-30% wear on the tyres, PM10 should move up into P2, because P White should be coming into the pits. And there we go. So P White into the pits then, as PM10 will now move up into P2 and chase after RJ. Let's have a look at the difference. If you look at the map at the top right hand side, then we see the little red triangle is RJ. He's out in front, and then if we go down, the next red triangle is PM10. So he's not that far behind, it is PM10. He is now just coming through Mercedes Arena as RJ is heading down towards turn 5 and 6. So not a massive gap. Grahamid moves up to P3 after these pit stops, and you can see P White now taking on the fuel and all the way down to 7th. Very Steele just coming around turn 15. I think P White is going to get back out on track in P7. Yes, he is. So P White rejoins in P7 with Steele in 8th. He's got Dan just ahead of him. Oh, Dan having another squirrely moment. Those hard tyres really are giving Dan something to think about. He will not like that. He will be, well, I can imagine what he's saying actually. As we just saw in the distance is P White. He's on his way and after you, Dan, so be careful. And P White is on the soft tyres. It's the same as Rufus. Rufus has managed to open up a gap back to Dan, and he's currently sitting in 5th and trying to chase Panic at the Tesco down, but Panic at the Tesco having his own little battle at the minute with Grahamid, both on the soft tyres. Both, well, Grahamid slightly better fuel wise, but that does mean he's going to be slightly heavier as well. So Panic looking for a good exit out of turn 15. Now, as I've said, it's only 620 metres this straight, so it is not a long straight. So by the time the slipstream kicks in, as Panic has a look at turn 1, he goes up the inside. Can he get it slowed down enough? Grahamid looking for the cutback as they go into turn 2, and it looks like Panic has managed to get the job done and hold on to it, and he has, but Grahamid is fighting him back as they go around turn 3 and then into turn 4, and it is Pasco. Panic at the Tesco has managed to hold on to P3. It was a bit of a late one, but he managed to get the job done. But Grahamid fighting back now through turn 5 into turn 6. And Grahamid is having a good old sniff around the back of Panic's car now. Just wants to stay in that slipstream, so let's not write Grahamid off just yet. He is going to fight for that P3 again. He wants to get himself up there on the podium. Brilliant stuff though from the League 2 guys in the Super Formulas. And we can see the blue flags waving. It's not for these guys. They must be coming up to the back of the Saint or something like that. As we follow Grahamid up and through turn 10 and turn 11. Panic at the Tesco, desperately looking to open up a gap between himself and Grahamid. He does not want to get in a fight with him. He wants to get on after PM10. It's Vane that they're coming up behind as they go into the chicane. Both through there safely. Grahamid now in 4th. Is Grahamid coming into the pits? Yes, well, it looks like he is. So Grahamid doesn't want to get involved in a fight with Panic, so he's coming in. He's feeling that those tyres are not giving them their all. So Grahamid into the pits. We are at 35 minutes, so 15 minutes to go then. So Grahamid is going to go on to the medium tyres, and well, he's going to fill the fuel up, and that's going to take him to the end of the race. Rufus now moves through into P4. He'll be pitting soon as well, looking at the state of the fuel. Tyres are going to start to hurt him. P. White, who has already stopped earlier, a couple of laps ago, up to P5. He's on the soft tyres, but he has got Dandan chasing him now. And Dandan on those hards really has been struggling on those hards, as Dandan had a brilliant first part of the race. But as soon as he went onto those hard tyres, they really started to hurt him. So he's doing well, actually, to stay in P6. Excuse me. I'm just going with a bit of a joke. There we go, swig of water. And we're all sorted. As the rear end of Dandan's car gets all very twitchy once again. So Grahamid, oh, he's picked up 3 seconds as well. That pit lane penalty is a proper pain in the rear end. I think we should start to switch that off. I think the guys are clean enough to know not to cut across the line on. I mean, it's barely a touch of the white line, and you're picking up 3 seconds. It just ruins your race. I think we need to switch that off and put a bit of trust in the guys to not abuse it. But poor old Grahamid, now as he enters the penalty zone, has to slow right down to about 60 miles an hour, which is practically crawling speed in these cars. Steele in 8th then. Not that far, well, I was going to say not that far behind with Grahamid, but the car in front is actually PM10. You can see Dandan has had enough of those hard tyres and has decided to come into the pits. He's just said no. Onto the radio, get these damn things off of my car and get me some fresh boots on, and that's exactly what's happening. So Steele sitting in 8th. The Saint in 9th, with Vane down in 10th now. Oh, we had such high hopes for Vane after the start he had. But down there in 10th, maybe just because he's made a start. Oh, holds on to it though, so well done to Vane for that. I thought he'd lost it, and he avoided the kiss with Barrier. Managed to steer the car back onto the grey stuff. It's those hard tyres, they really are giving these guys some trouble. And Vane struggling a bit there, but great car control to bring it back onto the tarmac. So well done to him. And let's have a look, see what's happening up at the top, shall we, with RJ out in front still, led from lap 2. Brilliant stuff from RJ. Started 4th on the grid, suddenly found himself in the lead of this race on the 2nd lap, and well, he's not looked back since, has he? So there we go, RJ still out in front, quarter of a tank of fuel. Tyres, they're going to start to give him some trouble now as they go over the 50% wear mark. So RJ probably thinking about another stop very soon. PM10, his tyre wear is about the same, and he's got a lot less fuel as well actually. So PM10, well, could this be a race that PM10 doesn't win? It is looking very, very likely, but look at those lap times. 36.7, 36.7, 37.1, then a 36.5, 36.6, 36.6. You cannot get more consistent than that, can you? That is fantastic racing from PM10. RJ, let's have a look. 37, 37, 36, 38, 37, 37. Again, consistency is the key for these guys. Brilliant stuff. PM10 then, well, is he going to come in now, or is he going to wait and have one more lap? I've got a feeling he'll have one more lap, because PM10 really does like to push the limits of these cars. And there we go, he does. He stays out. He goes around turn 15, back onto the start finish straight. Fuel light flashing, but that doesn't bother him. He's going to do one more lap. RJ, he's got more than enough fuel. He probably could get one more lap. May not be a good idea. He won't know what PM10's fuel situation is like, but I think if RJ came in at the end of this lap, this gap will be maintained. PM10 has got those soft tyres on now. Then I can't remember if he's used the hards. I don't think he has, so PM10 has got to go onto the hard tyres, as RJ has as well. I think he's used the mediums and the softs, so RJ will have to go onto the hards at the end of, well, not necessarily this lap, but I've got a feeling he might come in. P. White, who's pitted a lot earlier than the rest of the guys. I think the problem that P. White might have is he may have to make one more stop. I'm not sure. If he can make those tyres last, I think the fuel's going to be okay. It's the tyres that are going to be a worry for P. White. Currently holding on to P3. We have about 10 minutes of this race to go, and P. White not under any pressure at the minute, so he really needs to look after those tyres. Be a little bit gentler, avoid the curbs, don't push too hard. Well, definitely don't go across the grass and the gravel. That is not what we want to be doing. Panic at the Tesco sitting in fourth, not the race that he wanted or dreamt about last night, I'm sure. Oh, a big slide from Panic coming out of turn 6. Oh, what a shame, and a kiss with barrier, which gives him some damage at the front. And as I say, not the race that Panic at the Tesco was dreaming of. As we see on the left hand side, PM10 has come into the pits. Well, the fuel has forced him in, so fresh set of boots for him and some fuel to get him to the end of the race. RJ has stayed out for one more lap as we're following Panic at the Tesco in fifth. We've got P. White up into third as PM10 comes out with just over half a tank of fuel, so that's enough to get him to the end of the race, and he is on those hard tyres. RJ, the fuel light flashing now as he comes around turn 7 then for the 25th time. He will be thinking about a pit stop now at the end of this lap to get rid of those soft tyres and onto some nasty hards. Where is PM10 though? Well, they're just passing each other now, but on opposite sides of the track. So RJ around turn 10, turn 11 at Warnstein, down through turn 12, up towards the chicane then he goes. He will be staying to the right hand side and into the pits. He will go, PM10 just coming around turn 7 now. This is going to be very tight. This is actually, by the time RJ gets back out of the pits, he needs a fair amount of fuel as well. So a fresh set of boots for RJ and a splash of fuel. Now then, PM10 makes his way around turn 10 into turn 11 and pushes hard towards that chicane and that final turn. Just keep your eye on the table on the left hand side. You can see RJ sitting in the pits. The fuel's starting to go in now, so it just depends how much fuel is he going to put in. PM10 through the chicane. He has got the Saint in front of him, but the Saint won't hold him up. He'll move out of the way. RJ has decided just to put 56 litres in it. He's heading out now and will rejoin back in the lead of this race with PM10 just crossing the start finish line now. So the gap has definitely closed but both on the hard tyres, PM10's tyres, 1 lap older, and well, they're just about getting up to temperature, so this could be an interesting race to the finish. There is hardly anything between them. Oh, just let's have a look now then. If we can get a decent shot there, look in the background. Let's see if we can see PM10. Did you go? Oh no, we can't. So the gap, yeah, it's a big enough gap. It's a big enough gap for RJ. He just needs to hold on. Now these hard tyres have been giving a lot of these drivers some trouble, so RJ just needs to stay cool, calm and collected. Keep it on the grey stuff. Try and avoid anything silly. PM10 is the one that's got to push and make the mistakes. But currently in second position with P. White in third. What a great race he's had, P. White. He came in, I thought he came in just a little bit too early, to be honest, with his first pit stop. But he's managed to keep himself in third position, and, well, Grahamid is quite a way off, but holding on to fourth. Grahamid out for on the medium tyres, no more stops for him. The only one I was slightly worried about was P. White. He's really got to look after those tyres with just over 6 minutes to go. It's going to be a tight one for P. White. Grahamid in fourth, Panic in fifth. As I say, not a great race by his standards, and he'll be furious with himself. P5 is nothing to be sniffed at, but he was expecting to be a lot further up the grid, I am sure of that. Dan in sixth, bit of an up and down race for him. I bet he's glad that he's got rid of those hard tyres. He's now onto the softs and can start putting some lap times in now, can Dan. Rufus in seventh. Steele still in eighth with, well, nobody around him. The same goes for the Saints in ninth. Great livery though on the Saints car, I'll give him that. And then Vane, oh, he's picked up a 1 second penalty. Now then, is that a 1 second or is it 2.5? But Vane down in 10th then, so back up to the top, and let's see what is happening as we get into the last few minutes of this race. RJ still out in front. The gap back to PM10, well, I can only guess it's around about 7 or 8 seconds. Not 100. There we go. We just saw, if we go on board with PM10, if we look up the road, we can just see as RJ is now going into the chicane. Do want to, if you're sitting at home, you can try and work it out by counting. As RJ goes past a certain marker, you can count the seconds, and that'll tell you exactly how far they are apart. As PM10 exits turn 15 onto the start finish straight across the line to start lap 28 as we chase in RJ down. A quick look behind us and there's no danger whatsoever from behind. This is really uncharted territory for PM10. He's not used to being, well, not at the front at this stage of the race. He's used to lapping people actually, but now he's playing catch up and really pushing hard. It really is, I think this race is RJ's to lose. He just needs to, as I say, keep it on the grey stuff, keep it facing the right way, and let PM10 make the mistakes. He's the one that's got all the work to do. RJ just needs to stay cool, stay cool. P. White in third. I was worried about his tyres. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. Now P. White not under any pressure whatsoever, so stay off the gravel, Mr. White, please. Please stay off the gravel. You need to look after them tyres. They need to take you to the end of this race. Do not keep driving across the nasty stuff. There is a big gap between you and Grahamid sitting in fourth, but if you go off track onto that gravel, well, it could take you about 10 seconds to get back on again, so just be careful and you will get your sip of champagne. Second in the last 2 rounds for P. White, so he is used to being on that podium, so fingers crossed he's going to keep it there and stay on the track. Let's have a look and see what's happening between the two guys up at the front. Now then, the gap he's got considerably smaller. PM10 really pushing hard. His last lap was a 1:38.3. RJ was a 1:39.6. So there is over a second difference between the two of them. But the main difference at the minute is that RJ is holding on to the lead of this race with PM10 in second. He is... what's this 0.66? Oh, it's the lap thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's the lap thing. I can't remember what it's called now. Fastest man on track is the guy we are watching at the minute, PM10, with a 1:36.0. Now he got that very early on. He's not going to get it on the hard tyres, is he? But he is pushing to try and catch up to the back of RJ. We are just approaching the last minute and a half as RJ comes around turn 11. He's going to get one more lap in, I think. Yes, they will get one more lap in. RJ and PM10, I'm sure, will get one more lap in, as yeah, we have got 1.5 minutes to go, so one more lap for these guys. P White still holding on to third at the minute. Needs to look after his tyres though. Hamid a long way back, but holding on to P4 and a bit of a decent gap himself back to Panic at the Tesco in 5th. Then we've got Dan in 6th, Rufus in 7th with Steele. Big gap between Rufus and Steele in 8th. Then we've got the Saint in 9th with Vane down in 10th. So RJS then on his final lap around turns 3 and then into turn 4. PM10 very close, but I don't think he's close enough. Let's just look at the distance. There we go, there is RJ. He can see him. Now then, I'm just going to keep an eye on the time as P White has the fuel light flashing on, but he is on his final lap as well. So last 30 seconds. So is anybody going to cross the line before the leaders as Rufus exits the chicane and around turn 15? I think Rufus will get one more lap in. Whether he wants it is a different story, but he will get it in. Who is that? Oh, there. Whoops, there we go. Vane. So I think Vane is going to be the first guy across the line and in 10th position. No, he's going to get one more lap in. He is going to get one more lap in. Well, we're going to stay with RJS now because he is coming through the chicane then for the final time into turn 15. Goes RJ. What a fantastic race he has run. A well-deserved victory. Well done to RJS Racing. PM10, well, he did everything he could, didn't he? That early spill didn't help him at all, but finishes in second. P White across the line in third with just enough fuel to get him across the line. Well done to P White. Grahamid will finish in 4th. We can see that Steele has finished in 8th as we're just following Grahamid around the final turn. So a good race for Grahamid. He'll be pleased with that. Some decent points picked up there for him in 4th. Then Panic at the Tesco. Not a great race by his standards, but P5 still a decent finish for Panic at the Tesco. Dan will finish in 6th. Good early part of the race for Dan. Just couldn't pull it together towards the end there. The hard tyres actually done him no favours at all. Rufus then, as we're following through the chicane, then will finish in 7th. Steele has already finished in 8th. With Vane just, well, is he going to unlock? Oh, I thought Rufus had run out of fuel. No, he's not. He's just going a bit slow, that's all. Oh, naughty. I don't like to see guys doing that. I'm sorry, it's a pet hate of mine. But anyway, Rufus finishes in... Oh, and there we go, we've finished. Sorry about that, it just finished a bit earlier than I thought it would. Anyway, that was the League 2 guys in the Super Formula Series. One more round to go. I couldn't tell you where we are. So it's going to be a nice surprise next week. So thank you very much for watching. We do have the start of our Sunday season. Well, it's actually taking place, so I'm going to bring you that race, and I'm hoping I'll bring you that one a little bit later today, actually. We shall see. We'll see what time it is. I'll go and get something to eat before we do that. So anyway, join me for that race and the final race next week in the Super Formula Series. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you all soon.